Hello everyone and welcome back once again. So I'm going to be on my own today. Had a few co-op episodes recently. Was kind of hoping that this past weekend could have taken on the Ender Dragon, but no, I had to work that weekend and it was pretty bad. I closed the store on Saturday and then had to come in at 6 a.m. the next day. So that was not a very fun weekend. But yeah, that's how it is. Don't go to college, kids. You'll just end up working a retail job anyway. Well, I don't know. Some college degrees are useful. My computer science degree is not. Apparently. Alright, so server has updated. Got a few new mods. You may notice I've got Recubed now, which is kind of a cool stat tracker. Of course, it's only tracking stats since it was added to the server earlier today. And you may have noticed I'm in the Chaparral biome, and I just kind of wanted to think about what I'm going to do here, and I've done a wide variety of bases in Minecraft. A common one is that I do a lot is called the floating platforms, which consist of usually circular platforms just built up into the sky. It's a really good base design because you're away from mobs and it requires a minimal number of blocks because all you really have to do is build a floor and maybe a ceiling if you want to, and then walkways in between platforms, and you've got a good, easily expandable base. Of course, I try not to do that too often because that would get a bit monotonous, so I try to mix things up, building little houses. I normally do start off in a house kind of like this. And I haven't done any more work on this at all. So last 1.7 series I did pretty much floating platforms, although they were technically connected to the ground via pillars. They were still the floating platforms design, and I really like that base. I kind of wish that one could have gone on a bit longer. First Minecraft Let's Play I did floating platforms as well. So yeah, that's at least twice I've done it. I think Season 1 I did floating platforms as well. So we've done too many floating platforms. One thing I don't think I've done in a Let's Play, at least not on any large scale, is underground building. And I was thinking, you know, it might be kind of appropriate. I've already got that house kind of embedded in hills, so it'd be easy to expand onto that ideal and just kind of hollow out some hills, maybe build underground pathways between them. And I think that's a really good ideal because, you know, Trump is running for president, and if he gets elected, we're going to need a safe place to hide out until his term is over. So having a series of underground bunkers / vaults sounds like an excellent ideal. So that's probably not something I'll work on too much on camera because it's going to take a while to kind of get things figured out, and block choices are always an issue. I don't have Chisel at the moment. Can't remember why exactly I didn't add it, but I noticed when I was looking through the mods for when I was updating today that there are 2 different versions of Chisel 3 Uncursed for some reason, and yeah, I don't know what the story behind that is, but that's a bit concerning. Let's see, we do have quite a few caves in this area, I think. Oh, this one doesn't really go anywhere, but die, bat. Just die. They drop wings, so they're kind of useful. Got bat ore there, that is hilarious. So yeah, taking another quick look at this house. This is probably where I'll start living. And from here I can start digging tunnels and so on and so forth. See, this hill actually looks pretty large from over here, and it's a relatively short hike away. See, like an underground tunnel, it wouldn't take any time at all to get here. So that should be acceptable. And of course, I think it'll actually be really nice if this is just partially underground. Obviously, we'll need to have secure connecting points underground, just in case. Sleeping with a katana in your hand seems like a bad ideal. Just saying. But I think this ideal could work pretty well. It could be nice to have the base where it's just kind of underground. Obviously, any more secure portions of the base are going to need to be buried underground, some distance at least, and we'll need to have airlocks to seal off portions of the base in case they get breached by something. So a fair amount of planning will have to go into this, but I think it'll work. And I think there are quite a few caves in this area. I may have mentioned that already, so we could probably connect to these caves somehow via secure entryway. And if we need to, we can flee into the caves. So yeah, sounds like a pretty good ideal. So this area is pretty close to where I'm set up already. Okay, well, about 500 meters. So that's not especially close, but it's okay. But once we get to the end and take out the Ender Dragon, we'll be able to start making teleporters, which now require... Oh, wait for it. There we go. That was faster than usual. They now require Ender Essence, which you get from the end. So they're a bit pricier to make. Okay, so I think I'm gonna head back. Chaotic's got all the horses at his place, so I'll just drop this guy off over there. He was having a very hard time figuring out why he could only breed the 2 original horses. And I went to go take one today, and I thought, well, I'll take one of the new ones since apparently they're bugged. Tried to put a saddle on him, and he was having none of that. Apparently, he didn't bother to tame any of the new horses, which is why they weren't breeding. They were just eating the golden carrots and saying, screw you. So yeah, that's something I didn't think to tell him, that you have to tame the horses before you can breed them. Oh, sorry horse, I didn't mean it. How good of a jumper are you? Why can I not do this? There we go. So it's kind of interesting. The horses don't actually inherit the Cheaty stats from Cheaty McGee. Cheaty McGee is the horse that I started with. It spawned when Zoology was installed, so it is stupidly fast, has a ridiculous amount of health. And it's a good jumper too, so it's just pretty much the most broken horse you could have. Sadly, those stats did not get passed on. So someone told me that that Tech Reborn is no longer going to be maintained anymore. I'm curious if anyone can confirm that. I did a quick search and I couldn't find anything myself. Of course, I could be wrong. Oh, hi. I got light on my sword? Wow. Oh, this is a different sword than I normally use, by the way. Get in there. So this sword actually dropped from a Headcrumbs mob, right? Yeah, chicken bones. It's not the greatest. Its magic damage is kind of nice because I put the gold tip on it, and it's a rare, and it's a max level now. And I forget what the light does. Okay, light. Enemies become weakened for 5 seconds. Alright. And I also got Void, which is apparently the rarest ability. It has a small chance of instantly killing any enemy. So that is pretty crazy good. And the best thing about this sword is it did not get fire on it. So, huzzah. Unfortunately, it's still quite a bit weaker than my main sword, and it does not have looting on it. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but, hey, gotta take what you get, I suppose, and I forget where... What happened to the entrance to his place? I don't know what he's doing here. Oh, right. I don't know why I was thinking he was over there. Yeah, this place is kind of weird. Oh, I didn't see this expansion before. He's been getting into IC2 quite a bit. Chaotic, that is. I've heard that Charset is no longer being maintained, which is kind of sad. AC just dropped it apparently out of nowhere. Vasky updated it to 1.10, but I don't think he has any plans on developing the mod. Just maintaining what's already there, so that's kind of disappointing. Especially with the backpacks having that weird rendering bug. A mod I really miss is Adventure Backpacks. I use that in my 1.710 series Season 3, and I really love that mod. It had some bugs, which were kind of nasty, like the frame rate bug when you open the backpack GUI, but they were so... They were just the best backpacks I've ever seen. You can store anything in them. They have 2 special tool slots that let you just shift and scroll wheel to swap out your tools. They had a crafting grid, fluid tanks. I think you could even put them down on the ground and roll out a sleeping bag. They could do everything. It was a great mod, but that's another mod author that's just kind of vanished apparently. And who set my bees to go? I didn't do that. But yeah, that's kind of sad. I'm kind of thinking about maybe making my own backpack mod. I was looking at the license for Adventure Backpacks. It looks like you can't modify and redistribute it. I don't know. I'm not too good with the legalese stuff. Difficult Life was licensed under Creative Commons, I believe, which I think means I could modify it, like update it, which I already have mostly, and release that file. And I think that would be okay. I'd rather get in touch with the mod author and talk about just me taking over the mod, but I can't seem to get him. Maybe I should send a private message. I just left a comment asking if the mod would be updated, so maybe I just got ignored because that's kind of a dumb question. I don't know. I'm never sure what the right way to approach these things is. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just wandering around because I'm talking. I'm in a talking mood. Is that bad? Another issue that was reported recently involves gems and lucky cases. It was crashing since I added armor because armor did not have any error checking code in it to make it so that if you had a broken item... let's try that again. If you had a broken armor item, it would just crash because it had no data to pull from to render it correctly. I'm just not doing very well at forming the sentences today. Maybe it'd be better if I just kind of showed an example of what I'm talking about. So in Sightless Gems 2, the different tools and armor are differentiated only by their NBT. So every pickaxe is the same item. And I think it was in episode 4, 5, I think, where I encountered the problem with the progressive automation stuff not accepting even the flint axes unless you're using a diamond chopper, and that's because I register them with the diamond material, because I had to pick one. It's a single item. So if you just use the give command like this, say give myself an axe, it just gives me this broken axe item, but it doesn't crash. It has no data, and it doesn't know what to do with it. It doesn't know what to render. It doesn't know what to call it. And I love the -4 attack speed. That's just amazing. But yeah, it won't crash the game. And armor it should be... Well, yeah, I know it's all good now. Let's see... Chestplate. I can give myself a chestplate. Just renders it as white. For some reason, it has durability. I don't know why. Has no protection. But yeah, the issue with Lucky Cases was that, well, its source is not publicly available, but I'm thinking he's just saying for all the items that match what this case should give, for example, if it's a chestplate case, all chestplates, just create a new item stack of it, don't give it any data or anything, and that's good. And that was what was causing the crash, because it was trying to render an item that had no data, and it didn't know what to do with it. That has been fixed. I also suggested to the author of Lucky Cases, open an issue on their CurseForge issue tracker. I don't recommend using the CurseForge issue tracker, by the way. It's kind of garbage last time I tried it. Use GitHub, but to each their own. And suggested, hey, if you use the get sub items method, that'll return to you a list of all the possible variations of gem tools, and for everything else, it'll be identical to what you're doing. So that would be a good improvement you could make. It would take him like 3 lines of code. He basically said no, just you can add all that stuff in the config file, give your users the text to paste into their config, and like seriously, you could add 2-3 lines of code to do this, or I could type out multiple pages of text and tell users to paste it into their config file. And I'm not exaggerating, it would be pages of text. That's just kind of ridiculous. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say it's not crashing. We'll call that good. I don't want to mess with you anymore. I don't know. To each their own. It's his mod. He can do what he wants. Personally, I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to say anything else on the matter. Okay, Open Computers is another mod that's kind of broken. So the robots, they cannot swing their tools properly. So yeah, I tried doing robot.swing with and without a block in front of it. It just kind of prints out some vague error message if there's a block, and it just won't mine it. It's sad. I should not have updated Open Computers. Ironically, it's pointing to a type that was changed in 1.10. It was actually moved outside of a class that it was nested in. But it's still pointing to the 1.9 class here, so I don't know what the problem is with the robots, but the robots are not capable of mining anything at the moment. And I guess that means I'm probably going to have to roll back to an earlier version or fix it myself, because Open Computers updates very infrequently. It's not that it's not maintained and that the author doesn't do anything. He does. It's just the releases are so few and far in between. So yeah, the world of modded can be a bit frustrating at sometimes. People leave. Not everyone has the same amount of free time to work on their stuff. And yeah, it's frustrating, but that's the way it is. I mean, we earn almost nothing from the mods we make. I mean, the people who have the big successful mods probably earn some respectable amount of money. I earn about $2 a day right now, which is up quite a bit from a couple months ago, but still, it's $2 a day. I mean, I can tell you I spend a lot more than that every day, if you consider like bills and stuff, because yeah, it's crazy how expensive it is just to live. But regarding living expenses, I'll be okay until the end of the year at least. Beyond that, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. Just taking things one step at a time. We'll just have to see how that goes. I'm sure I'll be alright somehow or another. Oh, that skeleton has a gem sword. I saw that, but my brain did not register it for some reason. He did not drop it. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, the sword has pretty decent magic damage with the gold tips on it. It's kind of nice that you can kind of cheat with the sweepers. If you aim them straight down, they just kind of stay where they are, pretty much. I don't know why those were bouncing up. That was kind of odd. Oh, and yes, I know what a delightful mess it is in here. Just got stuff laying all over the place. It's terrible. Oh, and this thing needs to die. I forgot about that. Oh, it actually gives it to you. Huh. Well, I'm not supposed to have this because I didn't make it properly. You can just go despawn on the beach or something. Yeah, that was testing a bug with the return home charm, which I probably just need to disable the obstruction checks because they don't work often in between Minecraft versions. You know what? I'm just gonna do that like right now before I forget. Item return home. Okay, where is it? Is the destination safe? Okay. Okay, so it's checking if the block is a normal cube. Yeah, I don't quite know why this code doesn't work, but let's just say fix me obstruction checks and just comment out that code. There we go. So that should disable obstruction checks in the next version. So here's another interesting little random mod. It's called Simple Dimensions, and with a simple command, we can create new dimensions, basically, and this works just like the Minecraft world creator. When you go more dimension options, you can set it to different world types. I created one that is a customized super flat, which I could go show you. And it'll create dimensions with an ID starting at 30,000. And then you can use the TPD command that it includes to teleport to that dimension. If you're trying out the mod for yourself, keep in mind the TPD by default, if you just put in the dimension ID, it doesn't always put you in a safe location. So you may want to go to creative mode before using TPD. After you've set up the dimensions, if you're, say, using command blocks to teleport there, you can give the coordinates to TPD, so it'll teleport players to the correct position. Currently, the teleporters and gems are broken, or they were before. Actually, I'm not sure if they still are. But I originally linked this teleporter to the mining dimension. And yeah, that's not working, so I set up a command block here. And it's raining, and it's nighttime. I think the bed pet will still work okay. Command block here to get back. So basically what I did was I started with super flat, but I raised it up quite a bit, so you can see we're at Y79 here. Unfortunately, I forgot to set it to spawn caves, but you could still do branch mining here, and I think it spawns roguelike dungeons even, for some reason. Also a good place to find villages, apparently. So yeah, I'm not quite sure. I'm not an expert on how this works, but super flat, customize, presets, Minecraft Bedrock, Minecraft Dirt, Grass. Where's Stone? Yeah, I can't remember exactly how I did this. Yeah, I'm sure there's some way you can look up how exactly this works. You can edit the text up here to create a custom super flat world. And ores do indeed spawn here, I can guarantee that. Alright, well, I think this is probably a good place to end the episode here. Probably shouldn't stay up too much later. And I know it was kind of a talky episode. Hopefully those aren't too bad every once in a while, just running around talking about stuff. If not, sorry, next episode I'll be doing something, I'm sure. But I hope everyone enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.